Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all doing amazing. Hope you're all having just an awesome day. Now today, I got a story time for you guys about a time a plant almost killed me. Well, I guess it wouldn't have killed me, but permanently injure me? Either way, it would have caused some serious damage. Now without further ado, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the story. Alright, so this takes place around 2 or 3 weeks ago, and during that time I happens to be at my cottage. Now I usually spend around a quarter of my summer there, and my cottage, it's a pretty fun place to be. I love being around nature, and the cottage is on an island. There's literally trees everywhere. Then there's obviously a lake surrounding the island. So yeah, it's a place I just love to be. It's super relaxing, and it's just, it's a nice spot to be. Anyway, so the cottage next to us belongs to my cousins. Now my cousins, who I'm going to call Ava and Ella for this story, usually get along with us very well, and we always hang out together when we're up there. Ella's the same age as my younger sister, and Ava's the same age as me, so I guess that's part of the reason why we really get along. Every time we go up to the cottage in the summer, we love doing things together like swimming in the lake, or just talking for hours about random stuff. Now, the last time I was up there, I brought my flint up to practice making fire. I'm a huge Survivor fan and have already applied to be on the show, and because of that, every time I've been at the cottage or I've been camping, I've been practicing making fire, and I'm pretty decent at it. I'm not, amazing at it or anything. I can't get a fire starter within, 10 seconds, but if you give me some time, I will get it. One of the days we were up there, me and my cousins decided we were going to try to start building a fire. So my cousins and my sister built, the little foundation for it, mostly so they could get something to do, because since none of them really wanted to make the actual fire. So I'm striking the flints, right? And I'm getting lots and lots of sparks, but nothing's catching. I'm trying to get something to light for 5 minutes, and then I notice my hands are getting charcoal all over them from the black logs. So I decided I'd rather take a quick break than get charcoal all over my clothes, as I was wearing a really nice shirt that day. I think it was the one from the Imagine Dragons concert I went to, and obviously I did not want to wreck that shirt. That's a nice shirt. I felt too lazy to walk all the way down to the dock, so I decided to walk to the water closest to us, and my leg brushes by some bushes when I walk towards the water, and my cousin Ava immediately says, "Shaun?" in a sort of worried tone, and that kind of startles me. My first thought was, great, did my phone fall in the fire pit? I left my phone on a bench close to the fire pit, so I was kind of worried my phone fell into it, but I look over and my phone is still where I put it, so I'm confused at this point, and then that's when Ava walks over and says, "I think that may be hogweed." One important thing to note is that my cousin is extremely book smart. She's seriously one of the smartest people I've ever met, but I'm not nearly as smart as her, and I have no idea what hogweed is. So I ask her, "Ava, what is hogweed?" And she quickly tells me not to touch my leg no matter how itchy it gets, and that doesn't sound very comforting, so I'm kind of getting worried. I ask her again, "Ava, what is this hogweed stuff?" And she tells me that if the poisonous sap from it gets near my eye, I could go blind, which is not exactly what I wanted to hear. Imagine asking what the random plant you just touched is, and you're told it's poisonous, and if you touch your face, you're gonna go blind. That's kind of just a huge bomb to drop on someone. Hey, what's this plant? Not much, it's only gonna make you go blind. I don't want to go blind. I like my eyesight. I like being able to see things. Anyways, I ask her what I can do to get the sap off, and she tells me to go down to the dock, stick my legs in the lake water, and just wash it with soap. I tell her okay, and I go to do just that. Unfortunately, since I don't want to get my clothes wet, I gotta strip down to just my underwear, while being careful not to directly touch my leg. After I get my clothes off, I step down the ladder hanging off the dock until I'm on the bottom step. I don't want to step entirely off the ladder, because then how will I be able to wash the sap off? The dock was out to the point where the water was deeper than my body height, so I at least had to remain on the bottom step. At the level I was at, my legs as well as part of my belly were completely submerged under the water. Ava runs back from her cottage with some dish soap and tells me to scrub both my legs as well as my arms just in case, and to do it all underwater. She also mentioned that whatever I do not touch my face, which was pretty common sense at this point. I say okay, and I start scrubbing as much as I can. Around this time, it starts to rain, which didn't affect me too much, as I was already in a lake. But then I noticed my clothes on the dock, and they're getting drenched. And then I noticed the towel Ava had left for me, and I realized I have no way to dry off now. Don't you hate it when you're at a swimming pool or a beach, and it starts to rain and get your towel wet, and you realize you have no way to dry off? Well, I felt a whole new hatred for that after this. Thankfully, Ava, Ella, and my sister brought my clothes back inside for me to dry, which was pretty nice of them. Ella and my sister also grabbed my phone and flint for me, brought those inside so they wouldn't get drenched. so I was not worried about that anymore. And after about 30 minutes of just scrubbing and scrubbing, making sure there's no sap, my dad comes down to the dock and he brings me another towel. So I get out of the water, slip my Crocs on, and walk back up to the cabin. So the cottage is actually owned by my grandparents, not my family. And how the property is set up is that there's the cottage where my grandparents sleep, and then the cabin where any visitors sleep. My dad tells me just to be safe to get into the shower and scrub myself with the soap in there. I was already super tired of scrubbing because I've been doing it for like half an hour at this point. But I'd rather scrub myself even more than go blind, right? Like going blind would just be terrible. I don't want to lose my eyesight. I don't want to lose my vision. So I go into the shower and I start scrubbing in there. So for about 15 more minutes or so, I'm scrubbing myself with soap, trying to get the stuff off. And then I finally exit the shower. I get some new clothes on and I quickly reconnect with my cousins. And I ask Ava if I did enough to get the hogweed sap off my body and if I was good. Because when you have poisonous sap on you that could make you go blind, you kind of want to make sure it's all off, you know? And when I ask her that, she starts acting like she's trying to hide a laugh. I notice and I ask her, wait, what's going on? Why are you laughing? And she says when I was in the shower, she took my uncle, also her dad, who knows more than her about this kind of stuff, to confirm if it was a hogweed. But what she says next, I could not decide if I was happy or upset about. She says her dad told her it was not hogweed, but a plant that looked very similar to it. I didn't know what to think of that. I mean, on one hand, I was grateful I wasn't at any more risk of going blind. But on the other hand, that means I stripped down to my underwear, went in a cold lake while it was raining for close to half an hour, my clothes got drenched, and spent an additional 15 minutes cleaning myself from the shower, all for nothing. You're telling me that was all pointless? I could not believe that. But I was just really grateful I was not at risk of becoming blind because, you know, I like my vision, I like my eyesight, I don't want to lose it. So I was just kind of grateful that I was not going to go blind. But, like, you know, it was kind of disappointing that I did all that stuff for nothing. Anyways, I was just super grateful that I was not going to go blind. I like my eyesight. I enjoy being able to see things. I don't want to lose my vision. So yeah, I was just super happy that I was not at risk anymore. I was at the cottage for a few more days after that. I successfully made fire the following day and the day after that. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's story time. If you enjoyed this story, please share it with someone you think is also going to enjoy it. And if you have a story you think would be great for the channel, you think it would be an entertaining video, DM me on my Instagram. The link is in the description. And you might get a shout out in return if you want one. If you thought this story was crazy, I was sent in the story of a dude who threatened to beat up the workers at a movie theater over not getting a refund for a movie he didn't like. Click the link on screen right now to see that story.